I did this part of the work previously, and so I'm not gonna be able to share this in the video I'm making next, but I wanted to talk about a couple of important concepts for what I did here. So I'm making bias tape that I'm gonna use in this shirt I'm putting together. And when I cut the bias tape, in this case, I made it 2 inches wide, and we make sure to have a 45-degree angle on the cut end. This end here isn't 45 degrees, but that's because I trimmed it to be 90 degrees already. So when I'm getting ready to sew, I would basically overlap the two 45-degree angle cut ends. Now, in this case, this is batik, so it's the same on both sides. It doesn't matter which direction, as long as I keep track to make sure that if I have another 45-degree cut down here, that I stitch it so that the seam is pointing in the same direction, right? So I've made that mistake I don't know how many times. So I want to check on that. And then the other thing that I want to do is I want to make sure that, and in some cases it's a little tricky because maybe this edge isn't perfectly 45 degrees or it isn't cut perfectly smoothly. But the important thing is that I want to make sure that I start sewing right, and I call this a swallowtail. I don't know what else to call it, but basically this overlap that creates this little sort of V notch, and I want to start sewing right in that V notch, and I want to have where I finish sewing be right in this other V notch, and then just follow that seam allowance. That way, when I open it up, then the top edge is smooth and the bottom edge is smooth. Now, in some cases, I haven't been super precise. When I cut this, maybe this one was a tiny bit wider than this one. I can always trim it later, right? Or in some cases, if this is the edge that I'm sewing, for example, to a neckline opening to the bottom of a sleeve, when I fold it to wrap around the edge, if this is a little, if this is a little bit wider right here, big deal, right? Like it'll be hidden inside. But so I'll pick an edge where I'll make sure that that one edge is all perfectly parallel. Each piece is stitched in so that it creates a long, smooth line, and that if I need to trim, it's only on one side, or if I need to ignore it, then it's only on one side, so that I have one edge that I can use to match up to another cut edge. So I hope that that explanation has helped. At some point, I'll make another video where I actually invite you to join me in making the bias tape. But this bias tape is an important part of my one shirt concept because I use it to create these contrasting or self-matching bindings that are part of the design.